Oh yeah, welcome to How Can She Snap. This is the Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthiest of casuals. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, here with my brother from the same mother, Mr.
No big deal, baby.
No Big Deal Babies here, and we are part of the brilliant, one and only Snap Judge Network. I keep forgetting to fucking say that every week, but we are, with some great podcasts on there. You got Snap on This with Lauren Whatevs, Ree, and Benjamin Roller. We got Snap Decisions with the one, the only, Joe, the Snap DJ, the host with the most. And then you got the GOAT himself, Glazer, and Roy, with the Snap Judgments pod. We all release on different days. We try to get out of there on Sundays. Sometimes we don't, like last week. But we do our best. But enough about that. Let's get into this week's episode. We got a pretty good episode. We got a decent card coming out this week. Scarlet Spider. Mixed reviews from people. We're going to talk about it. No Big Deal picked this card up. He's been sending me screenshots all week. We're going to talk about this big OTA that just happened. All numbers, but seemed to shake up the meta quite a bit. A lot of kind of good changes, weird changes, but we'll get into it a little bit. And then we're going to talk about the new season that's going to be coming up, the Venom season. Agent Venom season, he's coming out. New card in a couple days from now, and 2 new cards, I should say. We're going to get into that. And then a new game mode coming next month. Should be pretty damn exciting. I am fired up. Let's get it! No big deal. How the hell are you, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry, I got into the beatboxing when you were gone, so it's kind of fun.
Oh hell yeah,
some energy, but I'm good, man. It's been a fun week of Snap. I like I said, I'm loving this meta. I don't think it's changed too much from the OTA, honestly, but I'm happy about that because I think it's great. I think we're in a really fun meta. War Machine, move decks. Hella, all the shit I like in the game is popping off right now. So I can't complain. Phoenix Force really strong, and it's good times, man. It's good times.
Yeah, man. I'm actually really enjoying the meta. I'm not gonna lie. I have seen, honestly, Hella was a lot more. I felt like last week. I've seen a lot less Hella this week. It's still around, but like I've just seen a lot less of it. I think people are kind of like, a little bit sick of it, maybe. I don't know. It still seems like a pretty damn good deck. But yeah, I've just personally seen a lot less of it. Maybe that's just my pocket meta. Phoenix Force is popping off, bro. Phoenix Force is popping off. The Phoenix Force Discord is popping off.
Oh yeah,
that's where I've spent most of my time this week. I've like not really been on Twitter too much at all because whatever, I don't care that much. But like, because I usually go on Twitter to find people are posting random deck lists and stuff. I'm trying to find cool things to play. Phoenix Force just popping the fuck off right now. Jet just started streaming, so he's been streaming like every day on Twitch. He's like top 5 in the world, only playing Phoenix Force.
Oh, that's great. He made top 5. That's
fantastic. He's just top 5. He made it to rank 3 the other night.
Yes.
Last night he was rank 4. He's just been streaming for like 3 to 5 hours every night. He's Filipino as well. So he like streams later on, and it works perfectly because I'm working like nights right now. So like if I get like a little lull in work, Jet stream, like fuck yeah, like I can just watch his stream and just watch the Phoenix Force master himself. It's a lot of fun in that sense. War Machine still popping off. And then you got all these move decks. It's and balance is really good. I like this meta. I see a lot of complaints, but fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, bounce is legit too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of good decks right now. So yeah, I'm just having fun out there, man. I'm having fun out there, and I got a gold split on Aranya, 7 split. Got lucky with the gold.
Oh yeah,
I'm fucking happy. Let's talk about Scarlet Spider, a card that came out. It's a 4/5 activate. Add an exact clone of this to another location. Now I've seen mixed reviews on this card. Looks like a fun card. In the spotlight caches is it was Scar and White Widow, correct?
I rolled. Yeah, I got the White Widow. Yeah, got it in too. Thank God. Because
Yeah,
I ran out of tokens, so I had to roll. It was one of those. So,
yeah.
luckily, I got it in 2, and I got the White Widow variant, which I thought was the best variant. Like the Scar one's pretty cool, but I play a way more White Widow than Scar, obviously. So, and I didn't have any variants on her, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that White Widow variant looks sick.
it's awesome. Yeah, it's
So
beautiful.
I did not pick up Scarlet Spider. I have enough tokens that if I want to pick them up later, I will. Only reason I didn't pick them up, honestly, is because I have a cool White Widow variant. I have a cool Scar variant. I have both those cards, and I'm like, I want to save my keys. Next month looks like it's gonna be fucking popping off too with some
Oh
of those
yeah,
cards.
October's gonna be sick. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? If I want to buy him later with tokens, I will. And honestly, I've just been playing so much fucking Phoenix Force that I'm just like, bro, like I don't even care to throw him in the deck right now, and I'll just get him later if I want. But I did pick up Silver Sable this week actually.
Yeah.
When we talk about decks, we'll get into one deck that made me do it. Ica made like this clog deck with Ajax and Silver Sable. It looked really cool, so I was having some fun with that. So I'm
How
like,
you liking the animation on her?
she's sick.
I love
They do. Yeah, they do such a cool job with the animations. Like sometimes you just want to like play the cards just for the animation.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
you're like, I don't know if it's optimal, but like whatever. You're like, yes.
Yeah, so sick.
So it's sweet. But Scarlet Spider to me looks like a fun card. Maybe I don't even know if it's underpowered. Like I think it's just a weird meta for this card. I think this card's gonna be good in the future, but like I don't know. You picked the card up. You've been sending me screenshots all week. Dude, tell me about this card. You've been fucking grinding.
Yeah,
this card.
I've played it in a few different shells for sure. I think you were saying there's mixed reviews on this card. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I think it's not a broken card, but I don't think it's a bad card either. If you're resource starved, I think it's very skippable for sure. The card, I said this about Wiccan when Wiccan was coming out. Hey, don't be surprised if this is in a top deck at some point. This is another one of those cards where it's like, if we ever get into some good cards meta, like here's your good card. Like 4/5 can't be Shang-Chi. Represents 10 power. Pretty good. So it's hard for this card to be bad just based on numbers alone. And then you start buffing it up, he pops off a little bit. So pretty interesting card. Like I'm into it. The trick is just what decks are you going to play him in? Is 10 power enough in this current meta? Usually it's not, honestly. Like we just talk about Bounce, Phoenix Force. People are playing War Machine and then just slamming an Infinite. Like your little 5 power is not going to do shit against an Infinite. So and Hella obviously can just pop off. So if they get their Luke Cage on the board, like Scarlet Spider is not going to do anything. So tricky meta for it, but and I think this is September's been awesome. So many good cards. I think Aranya, it's good. You talk about the gold split. I think Aranya, when we look back, is probably the best card of the month, honestly.
Dude, she's sick. She's fucking sick card.
I think she's number one on the month. Like just I mean, God, it's just I'm always so happy to open Aranya in my hand. Always. Like it's just an amazing card to have on the board. You could click it anyway. This is last week with Aranya. Let me not get ahead of myself. Scarlet Spider. I like the card. If you have resources, I would pick it up. This is my kind of card that I like to play. I think it's fun and pretty good. The most common thing is you get like a +2 buff on this card. So whether it is with Aranya or say a Forge or something like that, if you get it to 4/7, it's pretty ridiculous. We're talking about a 4/14. Remember when Miss Marvel was 4/15 and people were like, whoa, the condition, it might be hard to meet. And then Miss Marvel just completely took over the meta and every deck had Miss Marvel in it. Think about it that way. Like if this is a 4/14, in 2 locations, which is kind of actually better than spreading across 3 like Miss Marvel did. Like that's pretty fucking nice. So let's not act like it's a shit card. 4/14 is ridiculous. So I think it's a pretty good card, but it doesn't feel broken. And very easy to counter, and it's not the card that's gonna win you the game. It's not oppressive. It's not like Hella, right? Or it's like, oh, fucking Hella. The Hella comes down, you just lose. Even Phoenix Force. Phoenix Force comes down on multiple man, GG. It's never gonna be that. It's just respectable amount of points on the board on rate. I'd say slightly above rate power for cost card. And and if you're starter resources, definitely skippable. And I think at the October cards, the one at the end to me looks skippable. I just watched the dev video yesterday, and I forget what it's called, but it's a 4/6. And it's the one that makes your top deck of your card 0/0.
Is it Anti-Venom?
Yeah, 0/0. Yeah, it's called Anti-Venom. Yeah.
Is that
And
the one?
it's basically like
Yeah.
you need to play it with Howard the Duck. Like I don't know, like that's just clearly the skip to me. After the preview, I'm like, okay, that's the one I'm skipping. So the other three look like fucking banger cards. So yeah. So if you're looking at pool resources, I think you could skip this. You could skip the Anti-Venom, and you probably be off to the races.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. Like if you have an abundance of resources, this is probably a good card to have in your collection. Like I almost 100% will eventually buy this card with tokens in the probably in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably going to be a fun deck where I'm like, fuck, I got to get this card now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm just having too much fun with Phoenix Force, and like I said, I have White Widow and Scar, so I don't really care that much about those. If you don't have White Widow, I mean that's probably one of the best 2-drops in the game, if not the best. I would say roll for White Widow, because like you could even stop after getting White Widow and not Scarlet Spider. Like quite honestly, for resources,
seriously,
like,
they're not gonna series drop White Widow. Like if we get a series drop, say December, which I would guess is when the next one would come. White Widow's not gonna. White Widow's not gonna be on there. What?
2025.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing like 2
2025.
years. I think is the pattern. So I think the last one was June, if I remember correctly, which was decent. There was I think Gladiator, Nebula were in there. It was decent.
Yeah.
But I think the next one's going to be December, so it's going to be 6 months. And White Widow's not going to be one of the cards. She's a big bad. So like she's just like Jeff at this point. But I think she's more played than Jeff right now. So yeah.
No,
she's not
no, I would be remiss to talk about this interaction with Scarlet Spider.
Oh fuck!
No big deal.
You're gonna get me tilted.
Why don't you talk about your frustrations on the initial release?
Yeah,
and all the angry texts I received.
Oh my god! So I like sometimes if I'm really excited about a card, and I was really excited about this card. Everything I said about the card is like post-release, but pre-release, I had like 3 decks cooked up. And I was gonna do some wild shit with this thing. Like I had some cool ideas, and I was brewing. I was in the kitchen, and just straight cooking. And all my decks revolved around Symbiote Spider-Man copying this card and making a clone. Right? I mean, even now, Symbiote's 4/7. So imagine that. Like no buffs, nothing. You don't play Nakia, nothing. Like no Gwenpool. You just get a 4/7 on this. Clone it. That's a 12 power card, copy of a 12 power card. Unbelievable. I mean, that's 24 power spread out, like just easy peasy combo with no buffs. You start buffing, it gets ridiculous. And for fuck's sake, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the hell's going on. I look at the card Symbiote Spider-Man, merge your lowest cost card here with this. Copy its text just like it just revealed. So if this card just revealed, why can't I use the Scarlet Spider effect? But it's saying, well, there's 1 activate per game. Well, I don't see anywhere in Marvel Snap where it tells you that there's 1 activate per game. So I don't know. This is a little bit ridiculous to me. It is what it is. I get it, but I was really similar to what I thought Cersei like worked on the entire board. I thought Scarlet Spider would work with Symbiote Spider-Man, and it absolutely does not. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it seems like once a card has been activated, it can't, like, if it gets copied or something like that, that activation seems to, I mean, maybe there's some interactions that I'm not thinking of, it seems to not be able to activate again. This happens in Phoenix Force as well. Like if Aranya has been activated, if you destroy Aranya and bring it back with Phoenix Force, you cannot reactivate it, you know? Now what I don't know is, what if you play Scarlet Spider, or what if you play Symbiote Spider-Man on 4, then you play Scarlet Spider, activate Symbiote Spider-Man. Will that Symbiote Spider-Man have Scarlet Spider's activate? Because Scarlet Spider hasn't been activated.
No.
Oh, really? Even if Scarlet Spider hasn't been activated, it won't.
That was my first one failing. Was when I sent you my first angry message. Was that exact? I played it on 5. Like I got it. I merged it on 5. I had the spider already, and I had the symbiote already, and I went, spider activate.
And then on turn 6, you didn't activate. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess like but then that's not even 1 activate per game. That's just like no activates.
It is 1 spider. So this is what I've come to realize. It is 1 activate per game on Symbiote Spider-Man. The card, once
yeah.
it's merged, it counts as Symbiote Spider-Man.
Oh, so he already did his activate.
He used his, so it's not Scarlet
Okay,
Spider
okay.
anymore. Even though I haven't used my Scarlet Spider's gone, and now it's called Symbiote Spider-Man. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, even though, because I'm always merging this card with Nimrod, I'm like, oh, well, that's just a Nimrod. But I guess technically it's not a Nimrod. It's a big Symbiote Spider-Man that creates 2 clones if you destroy it. You know, so it's not actually a Nimrod, even though it looks and acts like a big Nimrod.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense with the Phoenix Force too, because if you bring back Aranya, you're bringing back a card that already used its activate.
Already used it, yeah.
So it's already been used. That card's already.
Game. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I get it. Maybe, you know, there was some crack shit in their testing. It probably was Scarlet Spider with Symbiote. They didn't want that specific one working, so it is what it is. I mean, I still think this is a really interesting card. I mean, you can buff it like so many ways, and even just getting 1 or 2 buffs on it, getting it up to a 6, 7, 8 power, makes for like a ton of game impact. Ducks Shang-Chi, you know, just one of those cards that, you know, you start slamming 6, 7, 8 powers, spamming them on the board. That's been a good strategy in Marvel Snap for a good portion of the lifespan of this game. We are just kind of in combo meta right now, so not the best meta for him, but there are some combo decks you could play him in, and then he becomes one of the boys. So it's not so bad.
Yeah, I've seen some decks with, like, you know, hand buff decks who seem to do decent actually. Like a lot of them, including Gwenpool as well. You know. Which is a card that's pretty fucking sick as well, that I don't see played enough, honestly. But
we'll get into one of those exact decks later.
Yes, we will. But before we start talking about meta, like more meta stuff and other decks, let's shift our focus a little bit and talk about this OTA, because we're inevitably going to be talking about some of this shit, and then we always do this, and then we're like, oh, we'll talk about it later. Let's just talk about it now. All right?
Yeah, it's good to start with the OTA. A lot of the decks we've been playing are kind of based on the OTA. Or even if they're not, they're at least impacted by it, right? So yeah, we may as well go through it. I think macro-wise, I'm not the biggest fan of this OTA. I think the buffs are pretty cool, and I think the nerfs are they kind of missed on a couple of them, you know, so I guess we'll get into it. But yeah, overall, I think, you know, a lot of time these OTAs are just fantastic, and they just nail it. I think most of the time they're great, honestly. But this one, to me, was a little bit lackluster, you know, at least to me.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit weird on some of them, but I mean, yeah, let's just go through it and we'll talk about them one by one. I'm not like overall, I'm like the OTA, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's
like
what
I read it all. I read it all, and I'm like,
OTA.
I read it all, and I'm like, all right. Yeah. Like I wish I could be like, oh fuck, you know. I wish I could have like there's none of that. It's just like a little bit here, a little bit there, which I guess is good for the game.
That's true. That means the game's in a good spot, and like we said, we like the meta, so you know, why mess up a good thing? I'm all for it. None of these decks are too oppressive win rate wise, so you know, it's nice. It's nice that way.
So first one, they started touching on your girl, Hela.
Yeah, I hate this. This is the one I hate the most. This is the main reason I don't like the OTAs. I think this is a horseshit change. But yeah, go ahead, Kit.
She was a 6/6 -2 when they resurrect. Now she's a 6/7 -3 power when they resurrect. So they made her a lot less consistent, making you basically, in my opinion, having to draw the Luke Cage in order to, I mean, not having to, but like really, really, if you want to get your power, you need Luke Cage, basically. And if you don't, then, you know, you're not getting a lot of power. So I don't know. This seems like I guess a nerf, but not like a huge nerf to me. I'm not the Hela gamer, but like
it's a huge nerf.
All right, well, let's go. No big deal. What do you go for it?
Well, okay, so I don't know. This change just seems, and we'll get to the War Machine one later, but it seems like very small brain kind of change here. This is like a 2-head. You know, they're not even trying to be 3-head or 4-head or 5-head. You know, this is like a 1-head change. You know, my issue with this is, if you look at the old Hela, 6/6, resurrect all your cards. You discard it to random locations with -2 power, right? When they nerfed Hela to read that text, Hela was a bad card, right? So like 6/6 -2 power, bad card. Like, it's bad. It's not a good card. The Hela deck was shit. Husky tried. Everybody tried. I tried. We couldn't make it work. We did our best. It was like a shitty mid-range deck. It was like a shitty, inconsistent mid-range deck. Even with Luke Cage. I mean, Komi's had a list, right? We were trying. We were trying, but I played that list. It wasn't good. Like you just get rocked. You get run over by all the best decks in the game, and so they took a bad card and they nerfed it more, and it's fucking stupid. That makes no sense. So why is Hella good now, kid? Kid, you probably know you're not a Hella gamer. Why all of a sudden 6/6 -2? It was a shit card. Something happened. I wonder what it was. I wonder if something crazy happened. Something happened exactly. They made Hellcow broken, and of course now we can play Hella. It's why are we not hitting Hellcow? What the fuck are we doing here? Like, why are we touching Hella? Hella's a bad card. It's not a good card. Hellcow's busted. This is ridiculous. This is a stupid change. I hate it. Hella is you made the Hella deck like less fun for everybody. Everybody is less fun because if you're playing against it now, if they roll properly, the stars align, they get their Luke Cage out, then the Hella deck actually has +1 power. You know, if everything aligns properly, it has +1 power. But if you're playing the Hella deck now, it's less consistent. So you're gonna have more games where you have to retreat, which is way less fun. And so the deck as the gamer, it's less consistent. And if you're playing against it, you're probably equally raging because they're just gonna get their Luke Cage anyway. And then Hella actually is a 6/7 now. So like everyone who still hates Hella is still gonna fucking hate playing against Hella. You didn't fix the problem at all. So anyone who's like, "Whoa, I can't Hella, you got no counters, no interaction," but everything that everybody complains about Hella, all still there. The deck has Luke Cage in it, so the -3 doesn't matter. But if you're playing it, you're gonna get Luke Cage out less of the time. And you're not even going to feel that as the guy playing against it because you're just going to get like a 1 cube win. You're going to get a 2 cube win. You don't care. So you're not going to feel it, but you will feel it when they pop off and you lose 4 to 8 cubes and you're going to hate Hella still. So this is a horseshit change. It's tone deaf. It makes no sense. This is a brain dead change in my opinion. I absolutely hate it.
I think that's fucking awesome. Counterpoint, it does make the deck less consistent. You're right, and I think that was the point of them doing this change, so that less people play Hella because it's less consistent. I think that's their goal here, is to make less people play the deck.
Yeah, but what would make less people play?
I agree with you.
Nerf Hellcow. You nerf Hellcow, it'll make less people play the deck.
Yeah, I wish they would have just originally just nerfed Hella's power and left her with they still bring back the people, make her like a 6/2 or like a 6/1 or something, or even like a 6/0. Like you play her on turn 6, you get 0 power from her, and then she resurrects all the other stuff. But that might actually be broken with Hellcow now. I mean, that was a pre Hellcow problem. This -2, -3 power, like whatever. But yeah. I agree with you. This is kind of like same shit. Different day, stronger Hella. Just need Luke Cage. Yeah, whatever. How would you nerf Hellcow? What would you do?
I mean, we could revert it. Like, it doesn't have to be an activate card. Like, like why is it like? Okay, you tried it. Like, think about it. Like, you did a massive change to the Hellcow card, just like we did a massive change to the War Machine card. Changing it from an on reveal to an ongoing, like, is a huge change for War Machine. Like, that's a totally different design philosophy, right? So it could go either way. Like, we don't know. Like, such a big change. Same thing with Hellcow. So you're going to activate. Like, maybe put him to a 4/9 with his old effect. Like, I don't know. But like, if you do that, you'll like the Hella will go back to being dead again. So like the 6/6 -2, I think was a good nerf originally. You did what you need to do. You actually attacked the Hella deck, and Hella became a bad card. So I think you just kind of slowly work your way back from there. Sorry, I hit my mic. Slowly work your way back from there, and like revert Hellcow change. Like maybe like because they already buffed Black Cat, right? So you could maybe move her up just a 6/7 with -2, but with no Hellcow. Something like that. Like I would start to just start slightly buffing the Hella cards again, rather than like they shouldn't have Hellcow. This is my point. The Hellcow is what makes the deck broken. So, like it's just and you can't even play it in MODOK. So it's really Hellcow's just only a Hella card right now. I think it's cool they resurrected the card, but it's busted. Like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's true. You can like play like 2 cards and win the game. Like you just play like Hellcow and Hella, and then like just win the game.
Yeah, and like say you get a Black Cat discard, right? That's so Hellcow hits Infinite Magneto, like GG.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's dumb. And
All right.
Hella was fine without Hellcow in the past. It's not like they don't need this busted like enabler. Like we don't need it. Like the thing you can't counter, you can't Cosmo it. Like it is not. We don't need it.
It's weird that like Hellcow should be helping the discard archetype, but like it doesn't do shit for discard archetype. It only
Yeah.
is good for Hella. That's why like I would like to see Hellcow like just targeted. Like maybe it's like your highest cost and lowest cost card. Discards your highest and lowest cost cards, so we can like nail Apocalypse and Swarm. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Something like that would be sweet on reveal. Doesn't have to be an
Yeah.
activate. There's so many cards they could put activate on. It doesn't have to be Hellcow. It's okay, guys. We tried it.
Yeah.
It was a cool idea. Look, it was a sick idea. I'm not saying it was a bad idea. Loki was obviously a bad idea from the beginning, and Mockingbird was obviously a bad idea from the beginning. Like we saw that from a mile away. Hellcow, I thought was a really good idea, but we see what happened. It's totally busted in Hella. We gotta change it. Not nerf Hella again. It was already a bad card. What are we doing? It's ridiculous.
Oh fuck! Poor no big deal in his Hella.
It's okay. I mean, look, there's a lot of other shit I could play. I'm fine, but this is brain dead to me.
Yeah, I don't mind the Hella because I just farm them with the Phoenix Force. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Hella. Yeah.
Yeah, just Human Torch farms them. All right. Next change. I don't know how many people saw this one coming, but I kind of I'm for it. Marvel Boy, 3/2, loses power. Now he's a 3/1. Zoo's been popping off this month. Zoo has ever since his card released. Actually, I think Gilgamesh Zoo has been kind of sneakily a really fucking good deck.
Top tier. It's a top tier deck. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are using it. It puts up a shit ton of power.
Mm-hmm.
Killmonger's like nowhere to be found, and some of these decks run Kyra, so it doesn't even matter.
Yep.
And Marvel Boy is the engine. I played like a Thanos Wiccan Marvel Boy deck for a while. Man, what a fucking good deck. Marvel Boy is an insane card. I think he's still going to be a great card. This 3/1 change, I'm not mad about it. Like it's a fucking good card. And I kind of want to see this in like a Ravonna deck now and see what happens. Because you can play like Squirrel Girl Marvel Boy on turn 3 now.
Yeah, that'll maybe be the anti-Venom deck. Some Ravonna thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. We could talk about anti-Venom decks. That's gonna be sick. Or Agent Venom, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is an okay change. Like when you have a card that's this good and you're like, yeah, I don't mind this change. It's usually a good change. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I want to shout out Joe from Snap Decisions. He posted my High Evo Marvel Boy deck, and it was great. We got on Untapped. There was like over 700 games played, almost 800 games played, like 55% win rate. Like we're crushing. That was like a month ago. But the whole premise of the deck was like, this Marvel Boy card is ridiculous. What if we just put all the best 1-drops in the game? And then with Marvel Boy, and then it's like, okay, well, yeah, I may as well play High Evo because we could put Sunspot, we could put Misty Knight, Nebula, and Squirrel Girl, so just because we're playing Marvel Boy. So, you jam all these stacked 1-drops in a deck, you put Marvel Boy, turns out it's pretty good. So, especially if you extend the game with Magic, so that Magic is another 3 power for Marvel Boy. So yeah, I mean, he gets absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you play him on 3 in just a normal game, what was he? 3/2 plus 3, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So 3/14. He was a 3/14 on curve with Squirrel Girl, let's say. So you go Squirrel Girl, Marvel Boy, Squirrel Girl 1, Marvel Boy 3. That's a 3/14 that you just played. So now it's a 3/13. I think it's a good nerf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a good card. I honestly, I think this card's criminally underplayed. I'm a victim of that too because I'm just not playing these kinds of decks. But like, it's a really, really good card.
I want to shout out Tucker too at SnapCon. He was abusing this card too. He had some deck called like Loki Boy. It was just a Loki deck like that abused Marvel Boy, like Mockingbird stuff. Just any way you could jam Marvel Boy into the deck has been very profitable since this card's been out. It's been a really powerful card since release. And I think taking 1 power off doesn't kill the card either. I think it's still very playable in all the same decks. You still play them. So yeah, I think it's a good change.
Yeah, and now Ravonna stonks, baby.
Yeah, maybe Ravonna, exactly.
All right. The newly changed War Machine. They're taking a power off this guy. He was a 4/7. Now he's a 4/6. And I think that they're just like, hey, I think that their logic was this combo with Storm and Legion, very good combo, and they're like, it's performing a little bit better than they expected, and so they're just taking a power off War Machine. Maybe just I don't know how much this is gonna do if I'm being honest with you. Again, I think this is a fine change because War Machine's ongoing ability is fucking insane. It's really cool. It's really good. I really love what they did to this card. I hope they don't nerf it anymore, because I think this is probably a sweet spot for him for now. And the Legion Storm combos great. I think it's awesome. And yeah, this doesn't really change that combo. You're still winning those games. But yeah, take a little bit of power off War Machine. It's good to put him in, check him a little bit. He should be a 4/6. Because his condition is very easy to meet. Like Wiccan's a 4/7, and you got to kind of work and build your deck around that, right? So like 4/7s should be like, cards that like you have to kind of build your deck around and need a lot of other cards to synergize. This is an ongoing. You just slam them down and you're good. You're off to the races. So I don't know. I think this is an okay change for me.
Yeah, I think your analysis is spot on. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. Shout out Iceman and JJ Rolk. They had me playing War Machine since the start of this change. Yeah, I've been spamming this card for the last couple weeks. I think it's a good change. I think he needed this. Pretty ridiculous out of 4/7. I think his old stat line was 4/6 anyway. So the reason I'm so tilted about the Hella change is because the thing they should have realized about Hellcow, they did realize about War Machine, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, the old on reveal War Machine needed power, right? But like the new War Machine is a little bit too strong, so let's nerf it. You know what I mean? And but with Hellcow, like he just gets a free pass. Like they completely reworked the card. It's completely busted in Hella. And they're like, nah, he's fine. Let's nerf Hella again. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. But hey, two wrongs don't make a right. This is a right to me. They just need to do the same thing to Hellcow, I think, and bring the old Hella back. I don't know. The -3s is ridiculous to me. So just totally hamstrings any Hella deck design. You have to play with Luke Cage now. I don't know. It seems dumb. Like a dumb parlay you got to hit every game. That's not fun. So, yeah, I like this War Machine change a lot, and I think he's still going to be good in the War Machine deck again. So it's a good change, similar to Marvel Boy, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
This next change, kind of a little bit out of left field for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this one coming. Symbiote Spider-Man. They gave him a point of power to this season pass card, 4/6 to a 4/7. Second dinner got that rent check coming up in October. They gotta sell some more season passes.
I heard there's a Galactus bundle coming up, but actually we'll get the Galactus later. So I'll jump the gun. But this to me is a Galactus card. That's why I brought it up.
This is I thought that Symbiote Spider-Man personally was a card that was okay, but really fun. Didn't think he was broken. I didn't think he was horrible. I thought he was okay at doing what he was doing. He was fun with like Nimrod. There's like multiple man, a lot of different Galactus. Obviously, there's a ton of different synergies. Brood, like a lot of weird stuff you can do with this card, which is really cool, fun, and interesting. None of it I think was broken, and none of it was like horrible. I think this card is just like a decent card that can be slotted in a few decks. He was a pretty fun card, not like the best card in the game, but like yeah. And they just made him a 4/7. 4/7 makes him I think a lot better. But I don't know how much it'll do, honestly. Maybe it's just a good buff because like I think all the things he was doing, he'll probably do the exact same. He's got one more power. But yeah, like you said with Galactus, which we'll talk a little bit more, it's a pretty big buff, pretty fucking cool if you ask me. But yeah, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think I got a couple things pretty wrong this month. I thought Madam Web was gonna like break the game and just be a tier 0 deck, and but she ended up being pretty good. But I thought she was gonna be even better. And I thought like Silver Sable was maybe gonna be like the 4th best card of the season because I thought Bounce would just get Giga Power crap by all the other decks. But Silver Sable ended up being good in a lot of different decks. So I got those a little bit wrong, but I always had Symbiote Spider-Man as the worst card of the season. and so I did kind of see this coming. I like this buff. I just think, like, yes, there's so much you could do with this card, but it just like Black Panther and Arnim Zola, it's extremely telegraphed. It's total delayed for a turn, and they know exactly what lane you're playing it in. Not only do they know what lane you're playing it in, Clog like messes this card up really badly. So, and just adding any low cost card like a Debris Rock, for example, or a Widow's Kiss, just completely cucks this card, and you have a whole turn to do it. So 4/7, not always going to secure you priority. So, or 4/6, the old 4/6 anyway. So there's so many ways to hard counter it. And when you do win, a lot of time you're not getting the 4 to 8 cube win because it's so telegraphed. Like, if they can't beat it, they're just going to leave, right? So, if they see like you have a Black Panther and a symbiote, like, and they don't have the answer for it, like it's just Jover, So yeah. time to get the fuck up. So I like this change a lot. I think it's a good change. I think they should keep him here. I wouldn't put it to an 8 is like crazy, So I think 7 is good. Let's chill now. I think symbiote's in a great spot right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of these changes, like the last two we just talked about. It's like where it's like, yeah, you're just like, yeah, okay, like he's probably going to be around the same power level. This isn't going to break him. He could have used this is a nice little buff for him, So
yeah.
like you said, it's very telegraphed and easily counterable. So yeah, it's good. I like it. I'm happy about it. And even though he's a season pass card, like even if he was a 4/0, I'd still buy the season pass.
Oh yeah,
it's just
for sure.
The value is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to see him get some love. And then this is probably in the community one of the more polarizing changes. we got Galactus. Was a 6/5, 6/6. They gave the boy some power. No big deal. Why don't you pop off here?
Well, I mean, look, I don't have any strong takes on this. I think it's a good change. I like this change. Let me say that. I don't like Galactus. It is a card that I have never spent any resources on. I was never going to acquire this. I was going to have this card right next to Kang in cards that I'm literally never going to buy and never going to spend. And then I happened to randomly get it in a cache one day, back when you could do that. So, I was forced by second dinner to have this card in my collection. It's not a card I want to play. And a card I absolutely get tilted when it's a Galactus meta, and I fucking hate a Galactus meta. Same way other people hate Hela metas. So, it's like, we like what we like, Having said all that, I think the 6/5 was really harsh in the first place. I think he was a 6/7 before, right? With this effect. And God, it's so they changed this card so much over the years. I'm starting to lose track, but I seem to remember him being a 6/7, and then they moved him down to a 6/5. I thought that was unnecessary. They didn't need to do that. It was a little harsh, so it's fine, man. Bump him up to a 6/6. I've heard this is a bundle buff. I've heard there's a $100 Galactus bundle coming up. So that's what the streets are saying. So I'm listening to the streets. Word on the street is it's a bundle buff. Either way, it's not a top tier card, so it's not like they're buffing a top tier card. So I think it's a good change.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's a $100 nullified Galactus bundle coming out. The variant looks fucking really, really cool. But yeah, I like this change. I'm with you. I think he's been lacking for a while. It's nice to have him get a little bit more power. And again, like it's hard. It's harder than ever nowadays to get a Galactus off. Because with his original, he doesn't have his original text anymore. Which is just if you have no cards in your lane, then Galactus goes off. Now it's like you have to be, winning the lane. That's been this change for like a year now, so it's nothing new. You have so many clog cards now. Like White Widow is just a clog card that like is not even in clog decks all the time. I mean, it is in clog decks, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's in a bunch of decks. Not just clog decks. You have tons of cards that can just completely cut Galactus 100%. So it's like it's harder than ever to get Galactus off. Giving him a power is nice. And now you got this new interaction with Symbiote Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man, Galactus people are eating well. So now it's like because you can use Symbiote Spider-Man to get Galactus off. So now it's 13 power. So now you gotta have 13 power or an extra card in that lane in order to get the to prevent the Galactus, which I think is pretty funny actually. and I kind of like it. I like it a lot. So I'm happy about this change. And as far as the bundle buffs go, I mean, they've said they do that. So it's
Yeah.
like they probably have had this change. They probably wanted to do this change for a while because it's been so shit for a while, and they're just waiting for the bundle to come out for them. For their bundle release to do this change, which is fine to me. Whatever, who gives a shit?
Yeah, as long as a bundle buff does not like obnoxiously warp the meta, I don't really care. Like as long as they're not like buffing one of the best cards in the game, like it's like all right, we're doing an RSM bundle, like let's buff them. It's like okay, like let's not do that.
Yeah.
But, like this is fine. It's Galactus. I think you make a really good point with how a year like if you go back to over a year ago when you didn't have to be winning the location and it just had to be the only card, then you could run what we would call a Galactus deck, and that's what people were doing back in the day. Early Marvel Snap days, you had a Galactus was just an archetype, and once they made that change where you have to be winning and it's your only card here, it's a lot harder to play a Galactus deck. Per se. Now, some people still do it, and shout out Joe again. But some people they want to do it. It's like their favorite card. They want to play Galactus. But I like now that Galactus is not. You're not playing a Galactus deck. You're playing a deck with Galactus in it. And once in a while, the opportunity comes up where, oh, okay, here's where I'm going to play Galactus, and it's I like it way better. Like I don't like the Galactus deck. To me, that deck sucks because it's either you got the counter or you don't, and then GG. They got Null, Death, Shang-Chi. Those were sad days. The way the Galactus deck is now, it's like, well, like I could play Black Panther, I could Zola. The synergy or the what I don't know what the juxtaposition, whatever fancy literature word you want to use between Arnim Zola and Galactus is pretty interesting because Zola hard commits to the other two lanes and Galactus hard commits to that lane only, and he literally destroys the other two lanes. It's the complete opposite of Arnim Zola, but you can play them both in the same deck. It creates a really cool mind game, and I like that version of Galactus way better than the old days where it was just a Galactus deck.
Yeah. No, it is. It makes the Galactus plays more big brain, and then you get more like it's more satisfying to see Galactus pop off nowadays.
Yeah,
because before you can reliably just get it off all the time with wave.
Mm-hmm.
You just wave then Galactus, and then it's like you almost certainly get it off unless they have Prio and had the old arrow or have a debris, that kind of stuff. But it's I think this is a good change. This is fine. I don't think Galactus is going to come and ruin the meta again. I think it's just he was a shit card, pretty much. Like he was pretty fucking bad. He's still probably not great, but give him a little bit of love. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. And then we got Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Just a Teenage Warhead, baby.
Was that the special guest Wheatus on this pod?
No big Wheatus.
Yeah. 3-2 to a 3-3. C2 gamers, sad as hell. That was like one of the only decks this card was reliably in.
True.
C3 gamers maybe happy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's an okay change. I think 3-2 was 3-2 was the shit for this card. This card wasn't that good. Fun card, cool concept. 3-2 was garbage card. I'm just gonna say it. 3-3 probably still not great. But cool effect, a little bit better and more interesting now. So I guess we'll see. I don't have too strong opinions other than it was shit before. It's probably still not great. I don't know if it's going to be good in C3. Maybe it will be. No big deal. What do you think?
I don't know. I personally wouldn't call it shit before. You had that Woody Supergiant deck that was pretty interesting. Remember, it just auto hits on the Supergiant card. Because it's face down, so your Negasonic always hits it. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then also, I thought it was fine in Surfer as well. Obviously it's a 3, and then gives you some control over the game. So in different metas, I've played it a little bit in Surfer, and I've enjoyed it there. But definitely, it was definitely not a good card. So I'm not totally disagreeing with you either. But I like this change a lot. I haven't tried C3 yet, but I'm definitely gonna put this in C3. Like this is for sure going in the deck, and C3 is kind of interesting right now. And if you are a Cerebro gamer, like, we lose cards all the time, so it is nice to gain one. Like losing the 2/3 Luke Cage was pretty brutal. But like C3 has Luke Cage now, and the C3 just got Silver Sable, which I think Silver Sable is an awesome addition to the C3. So C3 is kind of stonks up right now, and
Yeah.
I just lost an 8-cuber to C3 like yesterday, man. Like the freaking I had like a 20 power Black Panther, and the bro just dropped a Valkyrie on me. So shout out to that guy. But I didn't even know, I wasn't like processing that he was playing a C3 deck because I hadn't seen it in so long. But yeah, it makes sense because the Teenage Warhead. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get some games in on C3, which I definitely will be doing at some point this week. So I like this change a lot. Card that needed a buff got a buff, and yeah, C3 stonks.
Yeah, it was great. I played against a Negasonic deck yesterday, and they destroyed my multiple men for me, so it was awesome. So I snapped on them, and they left right after the Phoenix Force came up. I was like, "Thanks, bro."
That's funny.
I love this change.
Yeah, you got more destroy options.
Yeah, they're giving me the destroy options now. It's great. But yeah, I think C3 is a legit deck, man. People that like Cerebro, I think C3 was always the one that was the better deck.
Yeah, all the tech cards are 3.
Yeah,
like a lot of powerful tech cards are 3.
Yeah, so it's cool. I'm not a Cerebro gamer, but yeah, I like to see it there. Making this card a little bit better because it is a very, very cool card. I do like the concept of it. But yeah, next card. I am happy about this change. Black Panther. I think it's about damn time this card got a little buff. I don't know if we've talked about this in the past, but it was a 5/4 and now it's a 5/5. Again, it's just about time. Like a 5/8 is complete garbage. That can be like, Shadow King and stuff like that. Like it's just horrible. Now it's going to be a 5/10, which is a lot better for the combos. Especially if you Zola combo, it's going to be a 5/20 and a 5/20, which is 40 power compared to what was it 32 power on the last one. So you get 8 power more. Wong's popping off more. Everything's popping off. It can get Shang-Chi now, but like whatever. If you were doing Zola combos, you're getting fucking Shang-Chi anyway. Let's be honest.
Yep.
So I like this change a lot. I think it's great. It's good to see the Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying with Negasonic, I think this was a shit card at 5/4. Like this was bad. I don't know. Like it's just same thing with I was saying with Symbiote. It's telegraphed, but at least with Symbiote, Symbiote can be anything. Black Panther's the same fucking thing every time. So
yeah,
it's so telegraphed. It's just I don't know. This is one of the 5/4. One of the cheesiest cards in the game, and not even that good. Like you have to get such a specific combo to win. And there's just so many ways to counter it. So I like it as a 5/5. Like you said, a 5/10 can at least threaten a lane on his own. Whereas a 5/8 not really. So at least like that is a respectable amount of power, even if you don't get a combo off. Maybe you buff it once, you get it up to a 5/6. So you could throw 12 power in a lane, and that actually might be enough. So I like that it's a little more flexibility, a little more skill based, not just LOL. Did I do the combo? Did I not do the combo? GG, whatever. And most of the time you don't, or you lose to a Cosmo or something, and it's a GG. So I think it's a great change. This was a bad card. I think at 5/4, like legit bad. And I think 5/5, it's maybe playable.
Yeah, no, I know. And I was even gonna say like I wouldn't even be mad if they made it 5/6 eventually. If this wasn't, if this doesn't turn out to be broken, we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, Symbiote Spider-Man's out there too. You could get some wild shit with this card as well. So there's some cards there's a lot of new cards that can interact with it as well. So Aranya as well. Like so, we'll see. If 5/5 is good, great. As long as it's playable in some decks, I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be broken. But yeah, 5/4 was garbage. So and it is a cool card. Like it's a cool card. Like it's a cool concept. So I like
the Aranya is a good point. Like just think about Aranya before with this card and now. Like you get a 5/10. Aranya makes it a 12. Unfortunately, it goes after. We talked about that last week, where the weird interactions with Aranya. But still, you have a 12 Panther sitting in a lane by himself. If you Zola that's 2 24s. That's still pretty good. But before you know, it's one less, and you know, it's not 224s. It's now like 220s. You know, if they could get over 120 easily, and then you know your Zola lane's a 0. So, but now 24 is like, you know, you even though you didn't pop off, you still got 224s out. So it's like it's nice. Even the kind of not pop off combos still might win your games now, whereas before it was you either pop off or you lose.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I like it. You know, so we'll see where this goes. We got Craven. We have the favorite move card of Benjamin Roller.
Yeah,
Shout out Snap on this podcast.
yeah,
But yeah, so 2-2 to a 2-3, and I think they did this because I think that, you know, in my opinion, I think Madam Web is pretty damn good. I think Madam Web's a little bit better than people are giving her credit for. She's been popping off this season,
oh yeah,
and
it's
people
like,
are just like, yeah, you know, like I think she is still a really fucking good card.
yep.
And people are not playing Craven, and they're just saying, you know, I'm slamming Madam Web on 2 because it's going to get me more value, basically. So like, hey, let's give Craven a little buff, which I'm for. 2-2 to a 2-3. I think this is a really good change. I like seeing Craven get a little love. I always like seeing Move get a little love. It's a, you know, the archetype that was forgotten up until this month. You know, it took them 2 fucking years to, you know, give this archetype anything that so it could actually be playable in a meta. Aside from like the 5 people that play Move 10 hours a day in the world. So yeah, I think this is awesome. I'm happy about it, and so I'm interested to see if Craven makes these decks or what people start doing with Craven now. If this is enough, maybe it's not.
Yeah, I think it's a good change. It's a little spooky because I do think Craven's an absolute staple in the Scream deck, which is going to be coming pretty soon to Marvel Snap. I'm very excited for the Scream deck. I think it's going to be a good deck. But who knows? Maybe like, you know, with Move in the meta, it's actually like kind of rough. But maybe that's kind of good. I mean, you're -2 in their every time they move a card. It's pretty hilarious. So. Shit, even Phoenix Force was Scream out like that. You might not love that. Every time you move a multiple man, like it gets -2, right? So, yeah, like Scream or
Sad days.
yeah, exactly. Kingpin's gonna be out there too, so you know it's gonna be double pop, and you know, boop, 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 bouncer time. So but what they're doing here with the Craven and Hercules, I really like because they added Aranya and Madam Web to the game. And Move is a very legit deck. Move's a tier 1 deck right now. And even if it's not a totally dedicated Move deck, people are just putting a package of Iron Fist, Aranya, Ghost Spider, Madam Web, and then like Vulture Dagger. So you get like this 6-7 card Move package. You can kind of put that into any deck almost, you know? And a lot of people are doing that. And, you know, even in the fully dedicated Move deck or in the Move package, Craven's never making the cut. And Hercules, we tried to make Hercules work. Lord knows I tried, kid. I played the shit out of Hercules. The first week Madam Web came out, I was playing. I think that was one of the big problems with Madam Web was I thought it would be so broken with Hercules. And like, God, if you don't get a Human Torch with a Madam Web, with a Hercules, and then draw a Living Tribunal, and they don't have Killmonger, like, if that parlay doesn't happen, like it usually doesn't work out for you. Usually what happens is you get one lane with 72 power and you lose the other 2 is usually what happens in a deck like that. And Hercules gives you no control over where the 72 power ends up. So I'm happy they're buffing both of these cards. Not to skip ahead to Hercules, but I'm kind of seeing it on the screen there. But I feel the same way about both. These were the cards that were even in a Move meta, even when Move is at probably its strongest it's ever been in Marvel Snap, these cards were still not making the cut. So why not give them a buff? I'm super into it.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, just to piggyback on that, let's just talk about Hercules, the last one in this OTA. 3-4 to a 3-5. You know, now we got all these 3-5s, right? So, you know, Hercules definitely should be one that's a 3-5. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to do anything for Hercules. I'm going to be honest. 3-5 is a good stat line, so maybe it will. But like the problem with Hercules is that, in my opinion, I think that they need to get rid of the fact that it can move your opponent's cards.
Yeah,
I think they just need.
I said that from day one.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
I
my
think.
first problem with the card. Same
Yeah,
thing with the symbiote not working with Scarlet Spider. I thought for sure Hercules was not going to work with the opponents, but yeah, it sucks that it does.
Yeah, I think we've given it enough of a fucking chance here. Like they've buffed it a bunch of times. It's been out for enough where we can say like, hey, listen, like, and especially now in this move heavy meta, like
Mhm.
you're just helping the other fucking players. Like they're just you're helping them out with Hercules. Like he needs to be just like bounce your cards only. Make him a 3/5, and the first time your card move here, one of your cards moves here, it moves to another location. Um, you can get cute once in a while, putting them in a storm lane, but now we got ongoing War Machine. So like, you're just playing, War Machine, you're just playing the cards anywhere. Hercules is not helping out. Hercules is helping out your opponents more than harming them in nowadays. And so, they need to get rid of that to make him viable. If they don't do that, I don't see this card being viable anytime soon. 3/5 is nice. I think it's a good step in the right direction. Maybe I'm off base and maybe I'm wrong because this is a really good stat line, but like there's other cards you can be putting in the deck other than like, helping out your fucking opponent, a lot of the time, especially in this meta.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm still not going to play it at a 3/5. I will say I think Craven is going to see play at high level when Scream comes out specifically. So even the Craven buff, I don't think you're putting him into these move decks still, right? Like I don't think Craven changes that too. I think you still probably rather have like a Cloak or a Doctor Strange, even on a dedicated move deck, or a Beast or a Falcon, something like that, instead of the Craven slot. And a lot of people are even playing like Cosmo, Heimdall, shit like this in just full move decks I'm seeing on the top of Untapped. I think all that is probably better than a 2/3 Craven still. But when Scream comes out, like Craven's going to be like one of the best decks, one of the best cards in that deck. It like works amazingly in decks where you're trying to move your opponent's cards. He's an absolute stud in those decks. So yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. I agree. I agree. I can't disagree with that. And it's sad because Hercules is a pretty cool card. I like this card. I want to see this card played more because it's very interesting. Like whenever you play it or whenever you see people play it, like to have him like smash things around the board, it's hilarious, and I kind of love it. But yeah, I think I agree with you. With Scream coming out, it's gonna be, you know, I don't know. Hercules needs to like not fuck with your opponent's stuff, just your stuff.
Yeah.
So you can make it better.
Or maybe
Um,
Hurt goes in that deck too. Maybe we'll see. Yeah, I'll probably try it out in that deck. On the first build.
yeah,
Oh
I
no,
mean,
because yeah, never mind. I'll say Scream is like once per turn anyway. So yeah, no, Hurt's not gonna do shit. You can't ping pong in
well,
-2/-2.
we're talking about Scream, and in a couple days, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Scream's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We got the new season coming out, the Venom season. Season pass card is Agent Venom. He's a 2/4 on reveal. Set the power of all cards in your deck to 4. We'll talk about him in a second. Let's talk about Scream because like we'll just piggyback off our conversation. It's gonna flow a little bit better. Scream's a 2/2. When an enemy card moves, steal 2 power from it once per turn. So no big deal. Why don't you talk about why you're so excited about this card?
Well,
Scream.
I mean, same reason a lot of people were excited about Cassandra Nova, right? Which ended up being true, right? I mean, stealing 2 powers pretty cracked. Like, we know this from Cassie Nova there. So shout out to the beautiful bald gal there. So Scream here, like, yeah, every time an enemy card moves, steal 2 power from it. They did put a cap on it. So, this card could have been completely cracked if it didn't have that once per turn. Like I said, we would just put, Hercules in the deck, move their card, boom, boom. Now it moves your opponent's card. That would actually benefit Scream, right? Because it would steal 2 twice in the same turn, which would be hilarious. Imagine like -4 on their torch or something, So
It'd be hilarious.
and then the Scream would be a 2/6. It'd be sitting there, and that's just after one boom, boom on a Hercules. So
Yeah.
they did cap it. Smart. I think that's smart. But either way, let's just talk about the rate of power, right? It starts off as a 2/2. If it moves twice, so say you move 2 of your enemy cards, we're talking about a 2/10, kid. 2/10
Yeah.
with 2 moves. That's just 2. Like you could move 4 or 5 times. Let's say you move 4 times. Let's not 5 is the Giga Nut, and they don't play Luke Cage, for example. So let's just say 4 moves. I mean, that's 4 power every time, right? So she's getting 2, and you're stealing 2. So that's 16. We're talking about a 218 if you move 4 of their cards. It's absolutely ridiculous. And -2, like the affliction stuff, sometimes it's just affliction, but sometimes it hurts people a lot more than other decks. For example, if they're playing a card like Iron Man or Tribunal, or if they're playing a deck like I'm playing right now, where they're playing Nimrods, Galactus, all this shit. Maybe you play Silver Sable in your deck. Like some cards getting -2 are like, Scarlet Spider we just talked about. God, if your Scarlet Spider goes down to 4/3, it's fucking useless. Now you're basically clogging yourself at that point. So
Yeah.
like, you turn into like, oh cool, 4/5 power to, oh my god, 4/3 on my Scarlet Spider, like shit. So you just
If you hit it twice, you're
off.
saying?
What?
Yeah. If you hit the Scarlet Spider twice.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Well, they'll probably just activate the next turn, right? So that couldn't happen.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
they'd be terrified. Like, oh shit, activate.
Yeah.
But if you get prio, so I think it's fantastic. Now, this card I think is like kind of broken, like just in a vacuum. But the archetype, similar to Move before, like the archetype needs a lot of help. And I don't know if this is going to bring Kingpin to the top tier. Like, I really don't. I've played a lot of that deck. And, I know, Nerfer loves Stegron. Like, some people are just, like, Steggy truthers. Like, I don't think Stegron's a good card. Like, I don't think, they just buffed Arrow. Like, she's fine, Like, she's not, like, broken, So, the deck's really fun. It needs a lot of help. And this is, like, a huge piece to that deck. We'll see how it does. And my prediction is probably like tier 2 still, but very, very playable. But we'll see. I'm hoping, and I'll be playing it. Like,
Yeah,
I'll be spamming this deck.
I do want to actually play this deck because it seems like a lot of fun. Because like fucking with my opponent's cards is something I like doing. I think it's hilarious. That's why I like Clog as well. Like I am, I am part of the problem. I understand that. I enjoy that. It's great. This card, is gonna bring that. Like you're right. They gave the traditional move a lot of love this month.
Yeah.
This card is a really, really, really good card. Like you said, 2 moves. It's a 2 fucking 10. Like that's insanity.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be great with like Polaris, Stegron, Spider-Man, Arrow, Magneto. All like Magneto is a good card you just throw in any deck. Like it's great. I wonder how it's gonna work. Like which card it's gonna steal from. I don't know if it'll matter too much, but it might matter in some cases.
Probably the first one that moves.
Like
right?
the first one played, probably.
Oh, I thought it'd be the first one that moves.
Well, if Magneto pulls like 2 cards, like which one? What's the first one that moves? It pulls them simultaneously.
Maybe there's an order. I don't know. Who knows?
There's probably gonna be some sort of order. But anyways,
maybe first played. Who knows? Yeah, actually, I have no idea. Yeah, who the hell knows?
Like you're gonna be bouncing stuff around. You're gonna be stealing power. It's gonna be hilarious. Kingpin's a 1, so it is just an easy slot into this deck that you just like throw Kingpin out there, and they're gonna be moving stuff around, taking power, and it's gonna be kind of cool. I wonder if like. Do you ever see this in like do you ever throw like a high evo in here as well? Like you have a little like kind of move disruption package and a little mini high evo package, like because you can get an abomination pretty low.
A-bomb, I don't know.
I
don't know. You've been playing some Ajax stuff. I mean, I know people are trying that with Ajax. I've even seen some Ajax builds where they're not even playing Hazmat. They just play high evo Ajax. So who knows? I don't know. I haven't picked up Ajax, and I know a lot of people are doing stuff like that. Some people I've seen them play Ajax high evo, and the only high evo card they have is A-bomb. So it's like just high evo A-bomb, and that's it, and just a bunch of affliction like Sable and all these cards, right? So who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be. To me, it's a very clear what deck I'm gonna play it in. And I'm very excited to play it in that deck.
No, I know, but I'm saying like even in that deck, can you throw like an Ajax in that deck? Like if you have Silver Sable and Scream, like Ajax is +1 power. You hit 4 stuff. He's a 5/11. Like not bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, this card seems really cool. Only coming out in a couple days, so I'm glad it's only once per turn because those multiple men would get multiple fucking power stolen from them. Like one probably is not that bad. But like if it happens multiple times, oh man, PF would be sad. But
PF's gonna, let's be honest, PF is gonna be sad. Period. But playing against this deck, this is gonna be a horrible matchup for PF because you're also gonna have Kingpin out there.
Yeah,
you might want to be like putting Luke Cage in your deck with PF for week 1 just as the PF gamer, just something to throw on turn 6. Just throw a Luke Cage down, you'd be okay.
Yeah, take out Eliath and put in Luke Cage as the tech card.
First week of this card coming.
What was the meta? There was one meta like a year ago. We were all talking about. We're like, man, do we just throw in Luke Cage as the tech card? Like there was one. I forget what cards came out. I don't remember. But anyways, there was like one part where we're all discussing like what we're like, dude, I think we just play Luke Cage, like
Yeah.
because it's just ridiculous out here. Like, I think there's a lot of Shadow King and stuff like that, and there was like a week where we like put Luke Cage in the deck just as like a tech. But yeah, this card's it's a cool concept. It looks really cool. I'm happy about it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Agent,
I want to say just this is my most
Yeah.
anticipated card since Cersei. I'm so pumped for Scream. Like I'm like beyond pumped for. I'm like this is like a 9 out of 10 card for me. Like as far as just excitement and my how I like to play the game. I'm so fucking pumped for this card. And I thought I was pumped for Cersei because I thought she changed the whole board. I want to keep that clear too. Not just one location.
I'm actually pumped for you, and I'm pumped to see all the screenshots that you're going to send me because I know you're going to be spamming the fuck out of this card.
Oh my god!
And then I'm excited to see the decks that you make because like then you're going to give me these decks to play, and I'm gonna have so much fun because I like doing this shit too. It's hilarious. It's fun. And then you always come up with these wild cooks. It's hilarious. So it's good. But yeah, Scream's going to be awesome. Agent Venom, the season pass card. The more I think about this card, the more I'm like, it seems kind of fucking cracked a little bit. With some specific decks. So Agent Venom's
I didn't think of that. So yeah, go ahead.
So he's a 2/4 on reveal. Set the power of all cards in your deck to 4. Now, we had a time where there was Ravonna Athena decks, and they were really good, and they're still pretty decently good.
Yeah, the safety blade builds. He was playing that stuff. Yeah.
Now, why don't you just put this card in those decks, and it just makes them cracked beyond belief? I mean, you have Kitty Pryde, which is a 1/1. You have Angela, which is a 2/3. You have Thena, which is a 2/1. You have Sage, which is a 3/0. You can throw Iron Man in there, which is a 5/0. You can throw Mystique in there, which is a 3/0.
I'd say Havoc. I'd throw Havoc out there.
You have Havoc out there, which is a 2/0. You can play Agent 13, which is a 2/3.
Wait, Agent 13. Wait,
Agent.
US
Agent. Sorry, US Agent. I don't know why I said Agent.
Yeah,
13.
you definitely play US Agent. Yeah,
US Agent. You're playing all these cards, and then like I said, like Iron Man's ridiculous. Like, and if you don't draw Agent Venom, like you're still playing a pretty sweet like Ravonna Athena deck. With Sage and all this stuff. So, and then you just draw Agent Venom, and everything becomes 4 power, and these cards just pop off beyond belief. Like a Sage is a 3/4. Like it's crazy. You can play Wong decks. Wong's a 4/2, right? Like it gets insane. I think
it's a less sexy one, but now that you're bringing it up, I would throw out Sunspot. Just like if you're playing a low curve, Havoc, US Agent, all low cards. I mean, Sunspot's a 1/0. Like
Nebula.
Yeah, Nebby. Yeah, 1/4. Pretty nice.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of like different decks, a lot of different, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like I'm not thinking of off the top of my head that I'm just kind of spitballing that I've been thinking about the last couple of days. But I think specifically like Ravonna kind of Athena decks are gonna be
Cassandra Nova is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling now on the power stuff. Yeah, you said Sage. I mean Ironheart, I guess.
You could have the Hood.
Silver Sable. Yeah, the Hood, Silver Sable. Marvel Boy. Remember we talked about Marvel Boy?
Yeah, Marvel Boy. That's another one I thought of the other day. Yes. Marvel Boy.
Yeah.
Marvel Boy's insane. Aranya, if you want to play that kind of like, I don't know if Aranya works with these kind of cards, but still, like Marvel Boy will work with Squirrel Girl, with Mysterio. Mysterio's another one.
Yeah, Aranya would work. Why wouldn't she work? She's a 1/1.
No, I mean, like, why would you want to play Aranya in these decks? You probably.
This is the 1/4 when you play it. But, not bad.
Like Squirrel Girl's good. You Squirrel Girl, Marvel Boy, Mysterio's insane.
Oh my God, Mysterio! Yeah, that's a good one. So 2/12. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like it's fucking like this. You throw these cards, then you throw like a Mockingbird. Like I guess Mockingbird's probably not that good if you're gonna but maybe you draw it before you get the stuff and. You can still play Mockingbird. Like it maybe Hitmonkey goes in these decks too. Like Hitmonkey becomes a 3/4. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot, and obviously all these don't go in that deck, but like there's a lot of possibilities. Is what I'm saying, and I think it's going to be a lot more than what we're thinking. And it's just going to be. I think it's going to be really, 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 really cool. A really, really cool card. And it's going to make like these archetypes a lot better.
Another one that could be maybe interesting. I don't know. This might be weird, but Pixie. I don't know. Like I feel like it'd be total opposite of the deck you're saying, but it'd be like the other end, right? Where you take all like definitely Iron Man for sure, but like you don't play U.S. Agent or you probably would still play Ravonna though. But yeah, like maybe a bunch of high roll stuff. Like you play Pixie, your Pixie's a 2/4, but you play like Zola, Iron Man, all these kind of low cost, high power cards, like White Tiger, like shit like this, you know.
Yeah.
A Jubilee, like Jubilee's a 4/1, so you
Yeah.
might go up to a 4/4. You can maybe make some crazy like Pixie brew here too.
Dude, I think also Mr. Negative is going to be really good because
Mm.
it's like a backup. Like a lot of the negative deck, like has all these like low, like very high power, low power, high cost cards.
Yeah.
If you just don't hit negative, then you get a 4 on all of them, which is pretty sweet. Like White Tiger, all these cards, Wong, I think it could be like almost like a backup condition. You can build like a hybrid negative deck, with these like Iron Man, Mystique. That
I
kind of
like
stuff.
it. I like it. Yeah, actually, that sounds pretty good, honestly.
Right? Like, so you don't hit negative, you hit Agent Venom. All right. So I didn't get my negative. Everything's 4 now.
Yeah.
And it's like you're getting Iron Man, Mystique, all these 4 costs. And it's
Yeah,
pretty
5/4
sick.
Iron Man, pretty nice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You'd probably play in Sage in a deck like that anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe Ironheart Wong in that deck. Then yeah, you get the Ironheart Wong.
Ironheart's a 3/4,
Yeah.
which does +2 to like it's a 3/10 with this card. Like it's pretty sweet. Like like I don't think it's gonna be broken, but I think it's gonna make a lot of cool decks that are weird, and it's gonna like like a second win condition for some of these other decks.
You're getting me excited. You're getting me excited. Okay, you've sold me. You sold me on it. I haven't given it really too much thought, but you really sold me on this card. I mean, yeah, even all 3 of those deck ideas like all sound fantastic. They sound really fun and cool, and be fun to brew too. I mean, like Wolfsbane's another one, right? Just
yeah. There's a lot of these cards, like so. We'll see, man. And when I first read this card, I was like, "Oh, what is this bullshit? It's kind of stupid," But maybe it's not. And then also one I didn't even talk about, which I'm not gonna play, but like Cerebro 4.
Well, that was my first thought. So that's why I have Cerebro Brain Rot, and so that's why I'm not excited about this card. Is because I've just succumbed to the Cerebro Brain Rot at this point, and I've always really disliked C4. It's just like the worst cost. I've never been able to make it work. I've never been close to being able to make it work. Just there's nothing at 4. So I think
yes, but this makes things at 4. Like Iron Man, Mystique. This makes those cards 4.
It makes them 4 in your deck though, and
that's true.
You've probably drawn like 4 or 5 cards at that point that you would have to play lower than 4 on everything still.
True.
And if you're doing that, like why not just do what you said, where just play Iron Man, Mystique, like Havoc, play all these low cards, that they're still good, but then you don't like rely on the Cerebro. I don't know. Maybe a Cerebro brew will be coming. It's funny because I think the Negasonic is like, I'm more excited for C3 with Negasonic than I am for C4 with Agent Venom. Let's put it that
way. Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot other things that you can do with what's his face, Agent Venom. Rather than just do the Cerebro stuff.
I don't want to totally shoot down Cerebro though. He's a 3/0. He is a 3/0. So, pretty good as a 3/4 if you're playing a C4 deck, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing like Agent Venom, like Marvel Boy, Squirrel Girl, Mysterio kind of stuff, like Bishop's a card, Brood's a card as well. There's just shit like that. We can just maybe just get a little bit silly. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be cool. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool brews. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun mid-range decks that come out of this card, and then I think there should be, hopefully someone will brew some sort of negative deck that can be like a backup win condition for Mr. Negative.
These decks are gonna hate me. I'll tell you that right now. We're talking about Iron Man, Mystique. I'm gonna be moving some -2 into the Iron Man. I'm gonna be playing Scream the entire week. So, but yeah, when the shit calms down, it'll be good, but you got to find a way to get Luke Cage in your deck or something. Agent Venom makes sense with Luke Cage too. Anyway,
yeah,
you don't want your shit getting reduced. So,
all right, let's talk about some decks here. We'll talk about a couple decks here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the new season. But I just wanted to get into just a few decks to play. If you guys are stuck for decks and you want some stuff that's good in the meta, there's Infinity Conquest going on right now. So, if you wanna grind up and get those borders, Ica made a pretty sweet clog deck that kind of just shits on Hela. There's a little less Hela now, but like still, this is a really, really good clog deck. This deck actually made me buy Silver Sable this week because I saw it and I'm like, Silver Sable's a good card. I was gonna get it. Let's be honest.
She's so good.
Yeah, she's really good. She's been really good in this deck. So it's the Hood, Silver Sable, Hazmat, Shadow King, U.S. Agent, Rogue, Cosmo, Debris, Viper, Man Thing, Annihilus, and Ajax. I guess if you don't have Ajax, it is really good. Like Ajax is a huge power point here, but you can just play like other clog cards or other other big 5 drops or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But with the Annihilus and shit. But yeah, this deck's hilarious. Like Silver Sable helps activate Ajax. Hazmat activates Ajax. Cosmo cucks a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. Rogue, I've stolen. I can't tell you how many War Machines I've stolen.
Oh.
A lot of them, and I snap before I do it, and they get fucking pissed because they snap too. They snap. They have the Legion combo, and I'm like, "See ya, bro!"
Easy 4 cubes.
A lot of 4 cubes with this deck, specifically from the War Machine, because the curse of the cocky gamer there. They think that they're gonna, do their War Machine stuff. So Rogue's pretty good in this meta, for War Machine. But there's other stuff you can steal.
Another big one, if we're talking about this meta, is Luke Cage. If they do have to play their Luke Cage on 3, sometimes they discard it and pop it out with Hela. But in the Hela matchup, if you can take their Luke Cage, and especially now, Hela's -3 now, so like that -3 is happening if you take their Luke Cage. That's really, really good. You might have just played like a 15 power Rogue.
Yeah, and not to mention all that power goes to Ajax as well.
Yeah.
If you don't draw your Hazmat, Man Thing's awesome for these little like bounce decks, zoo decks. Man Thing's like a 4/7 now, -2 to everything. So the zoo decks, they fill up their lanes. You can get up to a 4/15 reliably. But he can be like a 4/13, 4/11 pretty reliably. It's a really, really good card. He does screw your own cards too, but that's okay.
Viper, it's Ajax deck. You're pumping your Ajax.
Yeah, you're just pumping the Ajax. That's it. And then Viper is just a sick card. U.S. Agent's been doing work in this meta as well, especially with like Hela, all these big stuff going around. Like he just is a 2/7 almost every game. He at least hits one thing. If he hits 2 things, it's a 2/11. It's just insanity. And then Debris, Clog, Hela. And Shadow King's also doing work in this meta because there's a lot of buffing and stuff going on. So like. It's a good deck. It's fun and it fucking pisses people off, which is great.
Another man thing as well is you get the classic. You could nuke your Debris Rock and send it over with Annihilus now. You make the Debris Rocks -2 so you can ship them.
Yeah, I love that, and I love I love making the Debris Rocks -1 with Hazmat too. It's one of my favorite things. Is shipping them over.
Yeah,
I think it's just hilarious. I don't know.
I want the old. You get 3.
I want the old Annihilus back. I want it to be 0 and stuff, and send it everything over, and make him like a 5/2. I don't care. But that was so fucking fun. I love that card. It was great. But I mean, this is a really fun clog deck. It's not like it's a little bit different from the traditional clog decks in that it has Ajax. So it's just something a little bit different, a little different spice for the people because you can get like your basic clog deck, anywhere. This one's a little bit different. Rogue's good tech, and then Cosmo too is ridiculous tech in this meta right now. Like everything's on reveal. It's really good.
Something like this was probably a really good thing to play in Infinite Conquest specifically.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have answers to everything. Like if they are going crazy pop off, you have the Shadow King. They have some crazy Wong combo. You have the Cosmo, and then you also have points and Clog to deal with any other bullshit. So you kind of have the answers to everything. You still have a lot of power. I was playing a Snap Judge League a couple weeks ago, and Butt, who's like one of the best players in the world, he played something like this against me, and I was just thinking like, yeah, it makes sense you'd play this in tournament, right? Like whatever you run into, you have answers, especially if you're confident in your skill. Like something like this, you should be able to kind of win almost any situation.
Yeah, it's great. And then I will say the deck that I've had the most problems with against with this deck is Arasham actually. I feel like maybe I'm not gonna say they get lucky when they draw, but it's just like they you don't know what they're doing, and then they have more energy, so like they just I feel like they can scale a lot quicker before I can fuck with them. You know?
Yeah,
what I
they're
mean?
gonna outpower you basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like you have to get nut draws like Ajax, Hazmat, and like you have to get like really really good draws. Whereas like with other meta decks, you can like kind of hack through and you don't need your perfect draws. But I found like with Arasham was giving me more problems because like they just like ramp up quicker. So it's like even if they have like a bullshit cards that they're playing, they just get more power in there and it's harder to clog them and do your thing.
That's a good point. Like you look at Rogue, Cosmo, Shadow King, like
Yeah.
so good against so many decks in the meta, but like those cards are doing nothing against Arasham.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're just playing random shit anyway. Like so, like
Yeah.
those are very specifically targeted like tech cards. Arsham's not gonna do some like buff combo, like so you're not gonna Shadow King. They're not playing Athena like the Athena Kitty Pride deck, like so they're not doing some Wong Cosmo shit. So like what are we hitting with Rogue, Cosmo, Shadow King against Arsham? I mean, it's almost like useless.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the one deck that's like, all right, like it's gonna be a battle, and we'll just see what happens, basically.
Clog is your best. I would say Clog's your best game plan. If you're playing an Arsham deck, they have to play little shit cards anyway. So maybe their ones and twos will be a shitty random like Maria Hill, some bullshit. So try to clog a lane and win the other. I would say is your best bet.
Yeah, but then you have to draw like your Viper, your Debris, and your Hood. Like you have to draw those. And
basic Clogger retreat against Arsham.
Yeah. So yeah, this deck's been really fun. It's a cool iteration on Clog, and again, if you don't, there's replacements if you don't have these cards. Like you don't need the Silver Sable Ajax. It's a lot of Clog decks, but just if you have the cards, then this is kind of a cool deck to play.
If you don't have Sable US Agent, maybe you could do like Titania Green Goblin.
Yeah, true.
Those are 2 Series 5 cards you can get out of there for Titania Green Goblin, which is a great top tier combo right now.
Hell yeah. All right. No big deal. Why don't you talk about this deck, the Wakanda No Big Deal deck?
Yeah, so this deck's fun. I do want to shout
revived.
Out. Yeah, it's revived. Yeah, Wakanda forever. So we got I want to shout out KK Sparkles. I did steal this from her in the first week of the season. I talked about it a bit on the pod with Stanky Kang, but I mean the deck's been changing. We've been evolving. We've been changing out cards, and we've changed out so many cards at this point. I just call it Wakanda Forever deck. So this deck is Aranya, Okoye, Magic, Nakia. So that's not Spider-Man. That is Scarlet Spider, Shuri, Gwenpool, Symbiote Spider-Man, Black Panther, Nimrod, Arnim Zola, and the big boy Galactus, the G-Man. So I thought it was funny, like we were going through the OTAs, and the deck I used to get to Infinite had 3 cards get buffed within it. So Panther got a buff, Symbiote Spider-Man got a point buff, and the Galactus got a point buff. And then this is a hand buff kind of deck. So like it's not just one power in this deck. Like if you play your Nakia, and Nakia hits Symbiote, Spider-Man, Black Panther both in your hand, like shit gets a little bit crazy, because now we're talking about an 8 and a 6 merges once, that turns into a 28, like that's just off of one merge, you Zola that, like, it just gets ridiculous. So Gwenpool hits these cards. The nut draw, which is, obviously there's so many ways to counter it, but if they don't have any ways to counter it, Shuri into Symbiote Spider-Man, right? So that makes like a 14 Symbiote Spider-Man, and obviously you Aranya your Symbiote Spider-Man. So now it's a 16 sitting by itself. Then you play the Black Panther. Maybe you buffed it once or something. Say it's a 5/6. So that's a 12 with a 16 power Symbiote Spider-Man, right? Then so the 16-12 merge for what was that? 16 plus 12 is what, 28 or no, 30? What's 16 plus 12? 28. Yeah, sorry. So 28 goes to 52. And then, 56, Zola that, 56. Right? So that's like, 104, 104, so something 56, like that.
56 to 112.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so 112, 112. With so that's like the Giga Nut. You'll never get it off against anybody decent. They will leave the game if they can't beat it, or if they snap. What I like to do is sometimes someone will, especially like you could kind of tell what decks have Shang-Chi. Like a lot of times Destroy decks run Shang-Chi. Arasham decks like to run Shang-Chi. So if you kind of read they're kind of snapping on their Shang-Chi, you could play your Nimrod instead. So you know, if you think they're playing Shang-Chi, you just throw a Nimrod in there. You know, merge that with the symbiote. So do Nimrod activate right away, because a lot of time you wait on the activate, but you want the Shang-Chi to hit it, and then you got 2 Nimrods for free. I think it's Zola one of the other ones, so it's just fucking hilarious. So it's just
Also on that,
yeah,
on that line that you just said too, like you don't even have to Zola, you can Galactus, and that's a 21 power Galactus.
yeah, true. But then usually Galactus gets punched, right, by Shang-Chi.
No, if you don't, if there's no Shang-Chi, like instead of the Zola play, like instead if you don't have Zola, you can Galactus too. Like you can just like, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
the symbiote Spider-Man is gonna be by himself.
Let's talk about the Galactus. So this deck is you're trying to do one of 3 things basically every single game. Number 1 is Black Panther. Okay. Number 2 is Nimrod, and then number 3 is Galactus. So you got to just hard commit to one of these lines every single game. So depending on your draw, depending on the board, sometimes the board gets a little bit crowded. Depending on what your opponent's playing, depending on, you know, hey, this looks like a good spot to play Galactus. You know, you'll see it. You'll see it. You see these openings kind of open up. Sometimes it's a Nimrod game. Sometimes like, okay, like just Black Panther's a little bit risky here. Like if I just got a bunch of Nimrods, like that'll be fine. I feel like Nimrod's kind of your safest, you know, line. Like it's just a couple 12s in each lane. You know, you get a little 28 on top of whatever else you played. So say you got a Scarlet Spider. That's a 4/7, and then like 2/28. So you got, you know, 14 power with Scarlet Spider, 28 with Nimrod. That's like kind of safe enough to win a lot of games. But if you really want to go ceiling, it's Black Panther. And then if you see an opportunity to get Galactus, you know, obviously it's, you know, these cards can get buffed. So let's say you play a Nakia, puts your symbiote Spider-Man, your Galactus. So that's an 8 and a 7. We're talking about a 15 power Galactus. It's in a lane where someone has not played any cards. It might be hard for them to get up to 15 power. Like it happens all the time, where it's just like, but yeah, they're not gonna make it here. Like, and especially if you have priority. And another thing you could do with priority too is Symbiote's a 4, and Galactus is a 6 cost card. So if you can acquire priority with your Nimrod, like you want to try to overpower a lane on the left or the middle specifically with your Nimrod, and then Galactus goes off. Even if they play a bunch of power in your Galactus lane, and they would have overpowered your 15 power Galactus, well, Galactus Nimrod is still a thing, baby. You know, so we blast the Nimrod. We're gonna add some Nimrods to the lane too. Galactus is still a destroy card. You know, people forget he destroys Nimrod. So like you could still go Symbiote, Nimrod, Galactus. And another thing that it makes Galactus like really good in this deck, and honestly comes up all the time. It comes up all the time. It's hilarious. Is the card Magic? So
Yeah,
like you just it's so obvious, like to when you see the deck list, but the people playing against you don't see your deck list, and this is a weird deck. So like it's not like people are like, you start seeing a Koye and Nakia, you think you're playing as a bot or some shit. Like what is this, a bot? Like what are these guys doing? Like, it's not a real deck, right? So they're already thrown off. And so like they think they're playing a 7-turn game, and because you played Magic, so you wanted to play a 7-turn game. So we just Galactus on 6, shut off the Magic. And like the amount of 2 to 4 cube wins I got off of that is just like hilarious. So yeah, it's a great deck. Like I said, it has a bunch of counters. This to me is an awesome ladder deck. I've been climbing. I went to like 10K to 6K with this deck the last couple of days. But I would not play this deck in Infinity Conquest. You run into one clog deck, you're fucked. So yeah.
Yeah. How has Scarlet Spider been in this deck?
Scarlet Spider is a flex spot for sure. I'm trying it out because it's obviously awesome with buffs, but I'm finding with this deck, you either get your combo or you don't. And the extra power from Scarlet Spider doesn't tend to matter as much. But I'm like, what am I going to replace it with? I was thinking like maybe America Chavez, maybe like, honestly, I was thinking Ebony Maw, because if I can secure Prio, then they can't do like priority Cosmo like type of shit, you know, like your Galactus always gets off if you have priority. So there are considerations, but he's been working like good for me. Like I'm consistently getting him to at least 7 power, and then so just having 2 7s, I don't know, seems really good to me. So
yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
keeping
good.
him in for now.
Yeah, I'd say too, like even if you want to make the Nimrod line more consistent, you could also get rid of Okoye and use Okoye Venom or Carnage Venom as well. That way you have like more consistency with destroy stuff, and you can always make a big Venom and Zola it as well. You know what I mean?
I was
Like
thinking
that,
about Venom as well. Yeah, Venom's interesting for
like
sure.
because I don't know how good Okoye is, but like Carnage is a nice card, especially with Clog, because it can really get rid of the Clog cards for you as well.
Mhm.
And then if Scarlet Spider is a flex spot, get rid of Okoye, throw in Venom, and then then you're Nimrod, because really you have nothing to do with the Nimrod line right now other than Zola, maybe like a YOLO Zola if you're Shuri Nimrod,
Mhm.
or just you have to have the Nimrod by itself, and then it's like not the best, but it's still okay. And then and with just like the Galactus, so
Yeah,
you can
Zola and
have the
Galactus are
Nimrods.
your two Nimrod.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to have like the Shuri Nimrod line, you can get rid of Okoye, Scarlet Spider, and have the Carnage Venom, and then you can pop off as well.
I like it, but do you think that's enough to win? Like, say you go Shuri, Nimrod, Venom. To me, I don't know. I get two 12s. I got like
Venom
a
Carnage,
12 in the mid
Venom
lane.
Carnage,
Pardon?
Venom Carnage.
Well, who am I taking out for Carnage?
Okoye.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I get rid of that
The
fucking.
deck's called Wakanda.
Yeah, you got Nakia, you got Black Panther, you got Shuri, all right?
I've liked the Okoye a lot, but yeah, that makes sense. I could go Venom and Carnage.
No, I'm saying you don't have to. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what else you would take out. I would take out, if it was me, I would take out Okoye or even Nakia. You can get out Nakia. I don't know how good is Nakia better than Okoye. Who do you think
Yeah,
is better?
Nikia's better. Nikia's better because you
I
know
would
what you're
think so
hitting,
because she
and
buffs
yeah,
your hand. Yeah. So that's what I would do is because Carnage is sick. I would say Carnage is also a counter to the Clog, right? You're saying if you play Clog, if you get Clog, like you're fucked. Like if you have Carnage in your deck, you're not fucked if you're playing against Clog.
you still kind of are with this deck though because it's like there's still Carnage in the lane. Like I can't Galactus in my Carnage.
No, but you could Nimrod and stuff. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, maybe you could still Shuri Nimrod. You could like Carnage first, and then like Shuri Nimrod Venom. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I think if you're gonna play the deck, kid, definitely go take out Okoye Scarlet for sure. Go for Carnage Venom. Let me know how it goes.
That's probably what I would do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I might try this.
That honestly might make the deck better, honestly. So yeah,
Who knows? I'm just
look,
saying it makes
it's
the
a
Nimrod
homebrew.
more
Like we don't
consistent.
know.
Yeah, bro. I'm not trying to shit on your Wakanda deck here. I'm just trying to think. Like I don't have Scarlet Spider. I'm trying to and then
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
thought
Phoenix
about
Force
Venom.
gamer.
I've thought about Venom specifically in here for sure.
Yeah, because he is good with Zola too, right? Like
Yeah, and I'm thinking Symbiote could merge him too. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if that's a thing.
true. Who knows? If you get Nimrods popping, you probably can do something like that.
Yeah, because you have magic. You're playing magic, right? So maybe you can especially if you have Carnage as well. So you get a Nimrod back, and then you symbiote your original Venom. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
Seems kind of legit.
could be cool. Anyways, this is a really cool deck. I like this idea, and like you said, they buff 3 cards, so it's pretty sick.
It's hilarious, yeah. And the power matters a lot. I mean, you need that one power on Galactus. Like you need it sometimes. Like if they play a Gilgamesh in there, like you might be in trouble.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, and then the other one you were talking about is this Move Machine deck here.
Yeah, this I
Here's
just
another
stole off of Untapped. This one I think Scarlet Spider is really good in here. Like this is definitely a Scarlet Spider deck for sure. But yeah, it's this is like one of the best decks on Untapped. I think Cam Best put it on his channel. I think he's playing it in top 10 right now. So it's just like I was saying, the move package with the War Machine package, and you just put them both together. So you got Aranya, Nebula, Ghost Spider, Iron Fist, Dagger, Madam Web, Storm, Vulture, War Machine, Legion, Infinite, and Scarlet Spider. So yeah, Scarlet Spider is obviously great with Storm. Can access the Storm lane and pretty reliably. You just clog another lane and it will always go in the Storm lane if you need it to. So you could target it as well if you need to. You don't always need to, but I love the card Storm. It's one of my favorite cards in the game. So anytime I get to play Storm, I'm happy. And I've never played Madam Web outside of like Hercules decks before like yesterday when I started playing this deck. I was always playing Madam Web with Hercules because I was just really trying to make it work. But my God, you're right, kid. Madam Web might be an underrated card, like just straight up.
Good. Yeah.
You could play Madam Web in a lot of decks, I think. That's what this deck taught me. Like, I don't need to play Vulture and Dagger to even just moving the Legion sometimes. Maybe like that's the location I need to play Legion, but I want the 7 power somewhere else, it's not, you're not always going to Legion your Storm. Like, so, sometimes Legion just wins you the game on its own. So yeah, man, like this deck's pretty sick. It has obviously you can lock down lanes, but even if you don't Legion your Storm, just lock down one lane. You have so much power to win the Storm lane, and you could just like play Infinite, to win another lane. So there's a lot of ways to just win two lanes in this deck. Yes, Phoenix Force is a very difficult matchup, and just honestly, even a dedicated move deck can give you problems. But Storm Legion, War Machine actually like beats that too. So at least you have an out.
Yeah, no, it's cool. They combine like the Legion package with the little Madam Web move package. It's a fun little deck, and then Scarlet Spider does do well in this deck as well. Just another thing, like with Madam Web, you can always play, not for this deck, but you can always play Symbiote Spider-Man on Madam Web lane. Turn 6. You move that baby out to an empty lane, throw Galactus down. They don't even see that shit coming. They think it's a Madam Web move deck.
Oh my god, I didn't think of that. That's
fucking YOLO it out there.
Actually, that might be an answer to Clog for the other deck, Madam Web.
That's true. Actually, yeah. Madam Web is sick against Clog because they just like move the shit out of the way. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've played against a lot of Clog with this deck, and the Madam Web is the crucial card that you need. Just moving the Widow's Kiss like where you want it to go is like really nice.
Yeah, it is good. This is a cool deck. So those are some of the decks we've been playing. Obviously, I think I've talked about my Phoenix Force deck enough here, but yeah, we don't have to get into that. What I want to talk about is before we close out here, let me pull it up here. Just some of the developer update. What do you think of the developer update? No big deal so far.
I think Ben Brode has been hitting the gym. He looks more fit than from when he first started doing the Marvel Snap thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's been working out, eating pretty good.
He is.
Maybe he's gone vegan or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's definitely lost some weight and he looks good. He's got the jawline now. So shout out to Ben Brode for living healthy, and he seems happy. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely since Hearthstone days. Like from Hearthstone to Marvel Snap, I was like, whoa, Ben Brode's been hitting the gym, and yeah, he's been doing a good job even now.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out to him. He was looking good in there, and I like the theme, the spooky theme, and everything. We went through the two of the new cards anyway. Obviously, I'm pumped for Scream, but you got me super pumped for Agent Venom now. But yeah, I mean, cool update. I liked it, and I mean, I don't know what the hell is going to happen with this new game mode. I didn't really understand what the hell they were saying.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that before the new game mode. I want to just talk about the 2-year anniversary celebration, October 18th. There's going to be a vote again. There was we were Team Torch last time. It was fucking hilarious. This is going to be, if you want to avoid the Twitterverse, that's fine. But one of the most fun I've had on Twitter was last year when they did the community vote. Just all the fucking memes that came out to vote for the card. So we have there's a Destroyer variant, and the community votes on the variants, and then we all get the free variant at the end of it. And the other two presumably will go in the shop. Mm-hmm. But there's a nice Destroyer variant here. There's a nice Howard the Duck variant here, and there's a nice armor variant here. And, to the non-audio or the audio listeners, yeah, I'm sorry, but the Destroyer is very nice. The armor is very nice. The Howard the Duck is very nice. The Howard the Duck, to me, is probably the worst one, but it seems to be the one that the meme lords on Twitter are pushing the most. And I think I'm just going to jump on board and just start going on with the Howard the Duck.
You think it's the worst one? I think it's easily the
best.
No,
I think it's great. Oh, really? I like it a lot. I think it's really cool, but I don't know. The other ones are kind of cool.
I'm kind of looking at like what's in the game. Like I have a Destroyer one that's way sicker than this. There's one where it's a bunch of flames. It looks amazing. It just looks way better than this. So I don't think this is a very good Destroyer variant. I mean, the mech one kind of sucks, but yeah, it's called Stephanie Hans variant. I think is way better than this Destroyer one. And then armor, there's some cool armor ones too. Like I like the Chibi, I like the Summer Vacation one. This armor one's okay. So, but this Howard one compared to all the other Howard variants, I mean, I'm gonna be team Interrobang here for sure. Like, my vote is 100% with Howard out of these
Team Duck
for my art taste, which is
I like the Howard one too. I like it. I never play Howard, but it'll be a variant that just collects dust probably in my collection. But I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. I'll probably make some memes and shit and just have fun because I don't know. Last time it was so fucking hilarious seeing all the memes and like people were getting so they were so like in a rage because they wanted the Rihanna Shang-Chi variant. I hope there's a big presence on one of the other variants, or else it won't be as fun. Like I hope some people are gonna really want Armor and Destroyer, and most people don't want Howard the Duck. It makes it that much more fun. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's just gonna be hilarious. And
I will say, if people don't want Howard because they already have the tentacle variant on Howard, because Howard's got a tentacle one, I understand. The tentacle, that's okay. That one's pretty good. For the men of culture, I guess.
What I want to talk about is the new game mode here. High voltage. All right. So this is going to come out on October 18th, I think they said. And it's going to last for 1 week. Yeah. Starts on 1 week, October 18th. So I'm going to read what Second Dinner says. It says, danger, danger. Marvel Snap's newest game mode will be called High Voltage. It will feature crazy fast matches that end on turn 3. So it's going to be like,
Time's up.
TVA. Yeah, TVA on steroids. One even before that. Also, every single turn, both players get a random amount of energy from 2 to 5. So you can just get like 5 extra energy for no reason. And it is confirmed both players get the same amount of energy.
Same, yeah. It wouldn't even be fun if that wasn't the case, right? Yeah.
It doesn't have cubes and you can't snap. So it's just going to be a bunch of fucking craziness. Only for 1 week. I'm a little sad that it's only 1 week. I'm not going to lie. Like,
yeah, Diner was 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks. And I think, weren't we a little sad that like I wish Diner would have lasted the whole month. Like,
yeah.
But anyways, free card, which is going to be in one of the rewards here. Agony, which is a 1/2. After you play a card here, merge this with it. So kind of like a little Hulkbuster-ish type card.
Chimichanga.
But there's some good rewards. You have like there's tokens, there's borders, there's credits, Agony, and then an Iron Man variant is the last one. Just 3 rounds with just all random energy is gonna be. I'm gonna like. Everything else is going to go to hell in Marvel Snap for me. This is when we're grinding for a week and just being ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least till I get all the rewards anyway. I mean, this seems a lot of fun. I mean, I wonder what the decks are going to look like. I mean, random. It's 2 to. Is it 1 to 10 or random amount of energy from 2 to 5? Okay, I saw one where like in the dev video they had like 10 energy one of the turns. So I don't know.
I don't know what the hell that's about.
Maybe there was we got the location that's +5. Maybe that's what happened.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
or maybe it rolled 5 and then they got +5. I don't know. They're making it look more. I was like, 10. Whoa. yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, yeah, and like you know how sometimes do you ever play in the in Conquest and you have people just doing like probably I think it's the quest that win a location with 10 or less power or something like that.
Yeah.
And like they just leave like after turn 4 or leave after turn 3 and like they exit. And they play like Ebony Maw and Silk and stuff like that. Do you ever play against people like that in Conquest?
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's like I don't think you're gonna be able to use those kind of decks because you're getting like extra energy. So I think like it's gonna be. I think you will need some decks that just have a lot of early game, but like I think you can still throw in some bigger cards too, just because you're getting like you can possibly get like 5 energy, 4 energy.
You don't want to run out of cards, 8, right?
9, yeah.
So, yeah.
You probably want some draw. You probably want some quick draw, I guess. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Yeah. Some like generation like cards that generate other cards too, because like you want to be able to play those cards with the extra energy. Like
it's gonna be RSM meta.
it's gonna be hilarious.
RSM's gonna be the deck here.
Yeah, probably. Fuck. It's all right. It's gonna be great.
No, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. It's gonna be hilarious. And then you get a free card, right? Like free fucking card. You can't be mad about that.
No, that's fantastic.
Hopefully it's not too tough to get the free card, but probably not. Like we don't know how much like voltage or whatever this currency is you get per win and stuff like that. We don't know that. But if they're only 3-round games, like it can't be that bad. And think about it. Like you could probably play like 20 games while you're taking a poop. Like let's be honest.
Yeah, and there's no snapping, so it probably won't have similar mechanics to the bub system in Deadpool. It's probably just play enough games and you get there.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah. Anyways, I'm excited for this mode. I think it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, you got me pumped for Agent Venom and Voltage mode for sure. Yeah, this should be sick.
Ew, it's gonna be fun. Like just 3 rounds. Like it's gonna be hilarious.
I'm a bit worried about Deadpool Destroy deck after the whole community gets Agony in their collection.
Yeah, Jet's talking about throwing it if he wants to throw it in Phoenix Force somehow.
Yeah.
First thing's gonna be cut all the tech and just like put Agony in there and see what happens, because Agony works well with Deadpool as well in the deck
and multiple man. Yeah, Deadpool and
multiple man and Human Torch and all the all the stuff, basically everything.
Yeah, that seems insane.
That'll be good, but then we'll have no tech, so it'll be like the Forge days.
Yeah, but then to your point, like Hulkbuster is in the game already. It's not like that card doesn't exist.
Yeah. So yeah, this mode's gonna be cool. Again, I kind of wish it was a little more than a week, because like I think these new modes are great. Like I don't know, I think most people were positive on Deadpool's Diner. Maybe not as positive as us, because like I fucking loved that mode. I was like, I just only grinded that mode the whole time.
Oh yeah, same here.
And then I think I'm gonna be doing this whole week. Like the whole week this comes out, it's all I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be hilarious. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. No big deal. What do you gotta say to the people, my man?
Hey people, enjoy the meta. It's a good time. Moves back. Hell is still around, unfortunately. For some, Phoenix Force is great. Great time to be snapping. Play Clog. Play all kinds of shit. This is a great meta. It's not 70% Arshem. It's not 70% Thanos. You go in there, play whatever you want. Good luck in Conquest. Anybody doing that? I don't know if I'll even be playing. But, shout out to the Filthy Casual. Shout out everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Get your borders. New season coming out in a couple days. We're pumped. It's going to be awesome. Let's get it. And,